Hello, friends. That was certainly a fun one, was it not? Minnesota Wild 3, San Jose Sharks 2 in overtime at Xcel Energy Center. You have to be very pleased with the Minnesota Wild in that game. They fell behind 2-0, but they were getting good looks, generating a lot of shots. So you had a feeling that the tide was going to turn at some point in that game, even though they were down 2-0. And as I pointed out, the second intermission, the Wild were generating a lot of shots in high danger areas, and if they were able to keep that up, they were going to win the hockey game. And they did, and it took a goal right at the end of overtime to do so, and a nice goal where actually, as Ben noted on Twitter, the extra pass works out for once this time. Didn't come back to bite the Wild and you know what. But a great win. The Wild improved their spot in the standings. Now they're now 5 up on the St. Louis Blues for the last playoff spot, which very key. And the Blues losing today, obviously the Predators 4-0 as they continue to be a hot mess. Wild are really getting hot at the right time, it looks like, as they swept through that road trip, and then they were able to come on home and get the job done here tonight. Thoughts from the night: Eric Stahl joins the 30-goal club. Not many have done that before. I think Gaborik, Rolston, Parise are the only others in Wild history to do that, so tip of the cap to Eric Stahl on what has been probably not the greatest day for the Stahls. So respect to them. Mike Riley, train wreck tonight. Not good if you're Chuck Fletcher and you're trying to move Mike Riley out ahead of tomorrow's deadline, but we will see what happens with him tomorrow, as I'm guessing one way or another Mike Riley will not be playing on Tuesday against the St. Louis Blues. So we'll see what happens tomorrow at the trade deadline. And then we have Mikael Granlund. He was very good with the puck tonight. In fact, he just looked like he wanted the puck when he was on the ice in the last 2 periods. And he was making plays, he was taking shots, and he almost beat Martin Jones a couple times there for the tying goal in the 3rd period. And Mikael Granlund is on a whole different world when he's in the zone, and he is probably the Wild's best player, and I say that with all respect to Eric Stahl, who's been fantastic. But when Mikael Granlund's on, he's the best player on this team and one of the best in the NHL. And you hope that at some point others start taking notice of what we see nightly with Mikael Granlund, because it is very, very fun to watch. From the Sharks, Martin Jones, I tip your cap to him tonight. He did everything he could to get the Sharks at least a point here tonight. He made big saves in all periods, and if he wasn't as good as he was tonight, the Wild would have won this game easily 6-7-2 in regulation. So you tip your cap to the Sharks, Martin Jones. I think he'll have some choice words for the rest of the team in front of him, but respect to Martin Jones tonight. So those are kind of some thoughts here from tonight's game. Kind of digest, maybe watch the game back again a little bit, but Ben and I will be on tomorrow. We are going to record a new podcast following tomorrow's trade deadline. In case you didn't know, tomorrow's the NHL trade deadline. So do look for that late Monday, as we will recap any Minnesota Wild moves and the news of the last week on the podcast. So do look for a mailbag later in the day as well on our social media channels, Twitter, Facebook. So that can wrap it up for me. We will chat at you on the new podcast tomorrow. Do look for that on SoundCloud, iTunes, whatever media you like to listen to podcasts. Look for it there. And then we will have a game preview for you on Tuesday. So we will talk to you then.